Good morning, Big Ten fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. I'm your host, Michael Chen. Today is Thursday, January 24th, 2018. We'll get right into it as Mike Locksley seems to have found his man to take over his defense in John Hoke. You might remember that last name. His brother Brady coached the Michigan Wolverines for a few years, obviously. And John brings a lot of NFL experience with him over to College Park. And Mike Locksley, 16 years plus plenty of college as well, as he has coached at schools like Florida and South Carolina. So this is a good get from Mike Locksley. Obviously, he's been putting together a staff of some younger guys. But as you've seen with what a lot of coaches have been going with, they've been coaching a mix of older guys, veterans who have a lot of experience, and then younger up-and-coming guys who obviously relate a little bit more to the players. As you know, Hokie is 61, I believe, and that's pretty far away from where these millennials are at, and sometimes there's can be a big disconnect between players and coaches when there's such a big-time age gap like that. But it does seem as if Locksley has done a good job of mixing both the veteran leadership and the up-and-coming coach. So look for Hokie to do a pretty solid job for Mike Locksley in College Park. Penn State is looking to replace some bodies in their wide receiver room. They had a few transfers leave, and there's potential for a transfer to come in as Lawrence Cager is going to set up a visit. He's a wide receiver, a grad transfer from Miami. He's going to do it the first couple of days of February. So I think this is a good match for both the player in Cager and the school in Penn State, as there's a need on both sides, as Penn State obviously lost a few guys to transfer, and Cager's looking for some more playing time, although obviously Jeff Thomas ended up staying at the University of Miami as opposed to going to back to home in Illinois. So it remains to be seen where Cager will end up, but I do like this match for both the player and the school. I think it would be a good match, and we'll see what Cager ends up deciding on where to transfer for his final season before potentially heading off to the NFL. Another guy who is actually heading off to the NFL seems to be former Ohio State defensive coordinator Greg Schiano. Looks like he will be joining New England and the Patriots along with Bill Belichick in a quote-unquote top defensive role. That role has not been released. It actually hasn't been released as well that Schiano will be in New England, but it does look like something that will happen, as Schiano and Belichick are very good friends. They've worked in the past, so I think this is an easy match for Belichick, as he's obviously always replacing top assistants, because you look at the Patriots and they're one of the best programs in the NFL, and a lot of teams like to try and copy. It's a copycat league, and the teams are trying to copy their success, and completely understandable, because who's more of a model of success in the NFL, in the modern NFL, than the New England Patriots? So we'll see if Schiano actually ends up with New England, but the answers are pointing to a yes at this current moment. Moving over to the hardwood, there's a couple things that of note that happened yesterday. It looks like the University of Illinois will be down a player, although Anthony Higgins had not dressed at all this season due to an injury previously. But it looks like he won't dress at all this year, period. As he's going to sit out his freshman year, take a medical red shirt, and get himself ready to get on the hardwood for next year. There was a group of 4 players that were named on the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. University of Michigan, Xavier Simpson; Maryland's Bruno Fernando; Minnesota's Jordan Humphrey; and Wisconsin's Ethan Happ. They all made the list, which is fairly impressive for the Big Ten. So, again, always kind of in the mix for national awards is the conference, and obviously the basketball in the Big Ten pretty solid as well. as everybody keeps beating up on everybody at the current moment, but it's been fun to watch. You've got a Michigan team that unfortunately lost for the first time this past weekend, and you've also got a Michigan State team that's pretty deep, but the conference looks pretty good as a whole basketball-wise, so it's nice to see some of the individuals get some accolades potentially as the season moves on. And that's going to do it for this morning's edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. I've been your host, Mike Chen. You can give me a follow on Twitter at MFC2123. Have a great day, Big Ten fans.